Alright, we'll try this again. I blew it. I just did a whole take and then realized I had picked up the camera and was moving it around. And my God, if I had put that video on there, half of you guys would be screaming at me about having to watch the video like this or upside down. Hey, hi. Happy Super Bowl Sunday, everybody. It's Crusty Old Crow here. Just gonna go over a figure I did today. It's G.I. Joe Classified. You know, I'm kind of, you know, in between doing reviews because there's not any figures here in Ottawa, Ontario for me to buy and review right now, but I can't wait to get back to doing that, doing a review of a new figure. Ooh, that always feels good to apply that tactical perspective review and, you know, add to the collection. But speaking of adding to the collection, you know, I'm eager to always grow these things, and I'm not patient, man. If Hasbro can't come up with it, I'm like the action figure junkie. He said it on a recent video too. If you're not going to get to it, I'm going to build it. That's how I feel, right? So I built a Major Bludd, except I call mine General Bludd because it's for my end state. If you guys are following these videos, you know I have my premise of the end state where Cobra wins. But I used a Taskmaster figure, and it's an older Taskmaster figure I found. I used for like $5 maybe at the Cobalt's Corner here in Ottawa. I was in the used figure bins, and I used a little bit of a War Machine that I had found in their $2 figure bin that was missing its hands, and you know, not very good, but it was the right scale. I managed to utilize some of that. So the figure I wanted and have always wanted, and a lot of us want this, and if you have this, you guys get that extra sense of pride. I want you to take a second, take a deep breath. If you have this Major Bludd, I want you to appreciate this. We all want this figure. It is so hard to find. And it is probably the best, single best science fiction-y classified character we have in this line. And I think, hands down, the best looking villain. This guy's Serpentor. I'm sorry, Serpentor is lying in a pool of blood. Yeah, by this guy's feet. This is not an inept leader. This is a mercenary. This is not an inept Cobra leader. This is a merc. You're showing me a merc. You're showing me somebody very, very cool. And I mean, like, this guy reminds me of a Neil Blomkamp character from like Elysium or District 9 or one of his little anthologies, right? But he still looks modern military, but very sci-fi. That weapon, that hand cannon, the laser eye instead of the patch this time, all those Joe tags. It's just, yeah, this is the, yeah, I held this up with Beachhead as far as the penultimate Joe, right? The penultimate Cobra. But it is what it is. What do? Do you complain about not getting it? We know it's all coming to Retroline. Beachhead, it's coming to Retroline. I can be patient. Major Bludd will come. There was a plan to have him in the release. I think he got pushed back a bit, but he'll still come. But it'll be that classic Major Bludd, right? The one from the cartoon, the one from the first figure release, the one that reminds you he is kind of a Australian shallow prick, right? When I look at that other classified one, this one, he reminds me of like a Serbian warlord or like somebody who's been at like, you know, like all those, the Bosnia conflict, Kosovo, Afghanistan, everywhere. He's been the merc behind those groups, right? And he looks like he's been really scarred up doing it. They've done a masterful job with that face. So I was a huge fan of that sculpt. The art was just inspiring. I just couldn't get around to doing the rockets. I want to make sure when I do a backpack for this one, I want to do it right, so I have to wait till I have the parts, right? But I have the ability to put it on there at some point, but the figure is more or less done, so I'm going to show it now because I was happy with how it turned out. So there was the Taskmaster body, and there was the Nick Fury head, which I, you know, it's not very politically correct or woke of me, but I turned it to a Caucasian head. And this is just a Python Patrol helmet I'm using in the time being. It's going to stay with the trooper, but I'll pull him down and we'll have a look because I don't want to bounce the camera around too much. That's why I was reshooting this video to start with. I had you guys upside down by the time we were done. So this is my Major Bludd, or General Bludd as I have it. Things I had to do, I had to kind of do a little bit more sculpting on the facial features. Like I had to bring up a bridge of his nose. It might not show up that well in the video, but the Nick Fury nose is a teeny tiny little nose. And there, that might show it better. There, I had the head at the wrong angle. So I had to build it up like it had been broken, you know, like build that that point right there. So that's all been fabricated. And I furrowed the brow downward because Nick Fury's was just plain, right? Just a plain look on his face. So the brow pointing downwards and around this line here. Let's go. Can I do this? Can I do it? Yeah, that brow. That's green stuff fabricated. So is the beard from the ear down to the chin. If you look at the Nick Fury Shield character from Secret Invasion, that's what I used for the head. There's the arm from the War Machine figure. It is loose on there, but I can tighten that later. And then I added like just a bit I had from my bits box. It was from 40K that I had trimmed down to a different thing completely, and I found it fit really well there. Same as the bat hand, because I had no hand for it. So I just used my Crimson Bat hand because he never uses this one anyways. He's got implements on there. For the torso, it is just the plain Taskmaster torso, but I've added things to it. One of the things I added was the gung-ho shoulder flap for that centerpiece right there. That's the gung-ho shoulder flap that came off of, was it this side? I want to say it was this side. And then I've replaced it with a different shoulder flap, which I got from the bundle from Loki War 2. Just a nice resin piece that covers that ball joint, right? But again, the joints weren't painted, so that made it easier. That's what I've learned out of these. Like, as much as I love just converting, I find repainting them is a pain in the ass. As little as I can do, I want to do. I got these ones done because I wanted to see a certain theme, and it kind of demanded repainting. But there's other ones where it doesn't really necessarily demand it, and I'm not going to really do as much of it if I can't. More kit bashing, right? Or generating and scratch building. So that cloak is from Snake Eyes Origin Storm Shadow. I just gave it a healthy, different color. And then the Taskmaster figure had a leg-mounted holster that I just opened the back of so that this weapon that I've got from Kid Omega can kind of slide in there. That's a temporary placehold till I can make him his own custom gun with the backpack, because it's a bit bigger than what I want for that holster. But I thought overall it worked out pretty well. It's got a cool vibe. I liked being able to reuse Gung-Ho's vest the way that I did, and I'll lay it down so we can get a better look at the colors that I used. So I used an olive brown for the brown. And obviously doing a wash and everything after, and then bringing it up. One thing I haven't done yet is a weathering. I haven't done any weathering to them because I don't know how dirty I want them. I don't know if I want them dirty at all. But gunmetal mixed with flat black. I have some gloss black on there, but really not a whole lot for colors. You know, just base paint go. It will get the protectorant spray, but this one won't be as bad as the others. I'll be able to do more posing with this one. That makes me happy. And then, of course, like you saw, I've got the space on the back to put stuff on his back if I need to. But to me, that's as good as I'm going to get as far as trying to get a Constellation Major Bludd until the retro line goes. And as far as getting a villainous one, I think like more like what I saw with the Cobra Island, I think that's as close as I'm going to get. I'm just trying to find that helmet so I can put it back on his bowed ass head. But the challenge is, when I say it's a challenge, is because I recognize that I'm probably not the best guy to do it, and that's why I'm doing it. But when I say challenges for this guy, the challenges were to try and get him not to look so much like Nick Fury besides just repainting him. I mean, clearly if repainting him is going to change his race, but that nose and that brow, just I needed it to change his look a little bit. I don't know if I achieved it or not, and I was hoping the beard would help, but either way, to me, that is not a half-ass bad ad hoc Major Bludd for my collection as per my end state vision, and I think he looks really nice next to my Cobra Commander. As I had them. So this is the part where I was turning the camera upside down last time, and I'm not going to do that. There's those backdrops. I love those guys. You're going to see more of those. And there's that collection. Don't forget, guys, like, share, subscribe, all that other stuff. If you like these things, I've got a couple more. You'll see them. It's going to be maybe a day or two till the next one, but maybe, I don't know. I can never predict. Maybe I'll have it done tomorrow. Who knows? But I've got a few of them on the go. Now, I'm not going to do nonstop classified, nonstop this. I'm playing around with it. I want my sub teams. I want this, but I also want to do that contest with you. Remember the 350 contest, guys. If you go back to the post that describes the 350 contest and enter here, I'm going to give you a free figure. I'm going to give you some parts that Loki Wartooth sent us for it, some custom art, and I am going to make you the character you describe in the rules on the contest. You'll have to do it on that post. Go enter there. Anyways, guys, that's it for today, and enjoy Super Bowl Sunday, and we will see you next time. Have a good one. Yo, Joel. Go, Brad!